Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Stardom Cast, a podcast we talk all things about the fantastic, amazing, and spectacular professional wrestling company that is Stardom. Folks, we do it in a positive and would like to think fun manner. I'm your host for this episode. My name is Matt Turner, and folks, unfortunately, we will not be joined by Rob Goodwin. Rob is going to be out of action for a little bit. Rob has hurt his back. Poor guy can't sit. Poor guy can't stand. So these next episodes, whether it's on the Stardom Cast, whether it's the Marigold Standard, whether it is going to be some Patreon exclusive episodes, Rob is going to be MIA as he is. He try to get his back a little bit better. Big thanks to Andy Header, who's going to be doing a lot of the editing and posting over the next handful of days, as we have so much great stuff coming out, which we'll get into in just a moment when we talk about what's coming up on the Patreon. Big shout out to Andy Header, who is going to be doing the editing and posting over the next handful of days. Andy, I made mention that, hey, Rob, yeah, poor guy can't even sit, let alone edit to post some podcasts. So I asked him if he can step up like he always does and step in, do the editing. And of course, he said yes, because Andy is a good brother. He's a good dude, and just all around, just he's the best. Really is one of the best people I know. And he did ask, how did Rob hurt his back? Did he hurt it playing football / soccer? And I said, you know what? I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to tell everybody right here how Rob hurt his back, and it's a story. I'm going to stick to it. Rob does not believe in Tam as much as he should, and he doesn't walk the Tam road with as much pride as myself or Andy Header does. So, folks, let that be a lesson to make sure you believe in Tam. Not 50%, not 60%, not 80%, not even 100%, but 110%. We should all believe in Tam. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But folks, let's get into some phenomenal podcast stuff. We're going to cover the news, Patreon, EO and Kyrie watch, with obviously an unfortunate injury to Liv Morgan. We got at the end of this episode, we're going to be previewing and giving my predictions for the Conversion coming up this weekend. A really loaded card. I'm super excited for this show coming up this Saturday. News, notes, even though Rob's not here, he sent me the news, he sent me the notes, he sent me the attendance figures, all that good stuff with increasing, decreasing, all that great stuff. The stat machine, that's Rob Goodwin. Even though the poor guy can't sit up or stand, he still will not be stopped. He still sent in a ton of news and notes. But folks, before we get into the news and notes, I hope everybody's doing great. Hope you're having a great day. It is a beautiful, warm day here in northeastern Pennsylvania. Finally stopped raining, and it is hot. It is hot, as this weekend is the official start of summer over here in the United States. So everybody's keeping cool. Keep yourself hydrated. Get those air conditioners in, which I think that's my chore this weekend. I think I got to put the air conditionings in the house. So hope everybody's having a great day. I hope you're better today than you were yesterday, because that's what life is all about, self-improvement. Folks, talk about what's coming up on the Patreon this week, because we have a lot of stuff that's on there that's coming up this weekend and coming up early next week. Alternate commentary. We had a little bit of a delay between my schedule, Rob's schedule. Rob had internet issues. We finally got up our first alternate commentary for the summer of Starlight Kid, the month of Starlight Kid, as we take a look back at the 2023 5-Star Grand Prix, night one of the 5-Star Grand Prix. A Starlight Kid takes on one Natsupoi. That is up on your Patreon feed. And speaking of Starlight Kid versus Natsupoi, last week, myself and Andy Header, we dropped a phenomenal episode, Starlight Kid versus Natsupoi, a rivalry review. That was a really fun one to do, to go back and look at all their fantastic singles matches. Plus, we added in 2 tag matches with Starlight Kid teaming with Momo Watanabe, and obviously Natsupoi teaming with Tam Nakano as part of Meltier. So that's been on your feed for the past week or so. That was a great episode. That was a really great episode. If you haven't gotten a chance to listen to it and let me know what you think. Alternate commentary coming up next week is I'll be looking back. I'll be doing the alternate commentary on Starlight Kid versus Sherry from last year's 5-Star Grand Prix, with the 5-Star Grand Prix just about a month away. Figured why not take a look at Sherry versus Starlight Kid, night one of last year's 5-Star Grand Prix. That's your alternate commentary that'll be on your feed next week. Folks, Tag Team Breakdown. Myself and Andy Header. Again, we're celebrating the summer of Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid and Suzu Suzuki back when they were Crazy Tiger Girl in last year's Goddess of Stardom Tag League Tournament, taking on Soriano, and Natsupoi. That's a great tag team breakdown that myself and Andy Header did. That will be on your Patreon feed probably about the time that you hear this. Coming up this weekend on your Patreon feed will be Is It Still 5 Stars? We go back to 6 years ago, June of 2019, as Arisa Hoshiki defending the Wonder of Stardom Championship against one Tam Nakano. I always say that was kind of the big breakout performance of one Tam Nakano. So that will be on your Patreon feed this weekend. Is It Still 5 Stars? So a lot of great stuff coming up on your feed. That's already on there. In about a week or so, myself and Andy Header, we're going to be doing a review of Tomoka Inaba's 2024 5-star Grand Prix run. Figured we'd put that on there. And then I'm going to have to get with Andy this week. He's a busy guy with work and obviously all the extra work he's doing on the Stardom cast. But I got to see if he does have time to record our roundtable discussion, which will be a little bit almost like a what if, almost like some fantasy booking. But our roundtable discussion would be Starlight Kid was to defend the Wonder of Stardom Championship outside of Stardom. What 5 wrestlers would we like to see her defend said belt again? So that should be on your feed maybe in the next week or so. So a lot of great stuff. Speaking of great stuff, we released a fantastic interview with the former Tegan Knox, known as Nixon Newell. We had that. We were working on that for quite some time. We were kind of just going back and forth, not sure when the schedules would line up. Schedules just happened to line up on Saturday, so like let's do it. Let's get it done. So that interview is up on the free feed for everybody. We dropped that this past Monday, and we're getting really great response. Not only on that, but we did an interview with the former Jakara Jackson, Marishade, about 2 weeks ago. We're getting great response on that, and the interview is just. They don't stop. They don't stop because this Monday, for everybody on the free feed, she's back, folks. One of the most requested returns in the history of the Stardom cast. One Allison Danger. She comes back. I had the pleasure of interviewing her just a few days ago. Just a fantastic, super fun interview. And that'll be up on your feed, I believe, probably Monday. I think that's when we have it scheduled to go up. And we have a lot of other interviews that we're kind of working on. So it just really seems like not only is this the place to go for all your Stardom cast, Marigold, Joshi news, and fun tidbits, but it looks like we're starting to rock and roll on interviews. And that's because of you. Thanks, everybody, for all the great support that you show us each and every day. It really means the world to us because we don't grow without you. We really, really appreciate all the kind words and all the kind things that everybody says. And the other thing we do is keep giving you more great episodes. So again, the Allison Danger interview, which I conducted last week, was just a phenomenal interview. And we had a lot of really great questions that came in. So we hope you enjoy that and enjoy all the interviews past, present, and future. So folks, again, that's what's on the Patreon feed, what's coming up in the next few days, what's coming up next week and the rest of the month. And then just a couple other things that I'm working on. So a lot of great stuff. And again, thanks to all of our new Patreon subscribers. I think we've got 4 new ones in the past week or so. So I hope you're enjoying the content. Like I said, as always, folks, if you have a suggestion for a roundtable discussion, you guys know how to get a hold of me, Matt Turner OF, on pretty much all the social media. So let me know. Let me know because we're here to just have fun and talk about the greatest sport on God's green earth, professional wrestling. Folks, before we go into these 2 shows from the 14th and 15th to review, again, Rob Goodwin can't be here physically, but he did send in a whole bunch of notes. So I am going to go through the notes here that he sent. And again, we're going to be going through the last thing we're going to be talking about is we're going to be previewing and doing our predictions for the conversion. So folks, let's talk about our friends over at Spark Joshi. The first big championship match has been announced as Hazuki will be making her first defense against Mila World over at Spark Ignite, Texas. That show is going to happen in just under 2 weeks' time on June 29th. If you remember, Hazuki did defeat Lena Cross to win the vacant Spark Joshi Championship after Starlight Kid vacated the belt as she wanted to focus on the Wonder of Stardom Championship, and obviously she's doing great there. So not only is Hazuki going to be on this card, but her FWC tag partner, Kagama, will be on this card as well. So this is going to be a really great match. Mila World was one of the MVPs of WrestleMania weekend. I don't know if there was too many wrestlers, maybe outside of Masha Slamovich, that wrestled as much as Mila World. She was fantastic. She's ever improving. I would love to see her in Stardom proper. And maybe this is her rehearsal. Maybe this is her tryout as she's going to be wrestling one of the best wrestlers in the world and probably my favorite wrestler in all of wrestling, the People's Champion, the Wrestling Machine, Spark Joshi champion, and one Hazuki. So, folks, the tickets are on sale. You can just type in Spark, and everything's really on there. Don't know anything yet on if there's going to be a live stream on this. As soon as we find out, we will let you know. Our friends over at Spark Joshi, they're doing a fantastic job, and please keep supporting them. But that main event of Hazuki defending against Milo World, I am really, really looking forward to that, and hopefully we do see Milo World in Stardom proper in the near future because she's fantastic. But folks, that's not all for Hazuki. Hazuki is very, very busy. Hazuki will be taking on Dash Chisako in Cork and Hall for Sendai Girls July 19th. We reported on this last week. This is going to be a no rules, basically no DQ match. The Wild Heart appeared in Sendai Girls June 8th at Shinjuku Face, and challenge was laid down. Dash Chisako just defeated Chi-Chi in a phenomenal singles match. Folks, if you have Wrestle Universe, definitely go out of your way to check out that match. That was great with Dash and Chi-Chi. And then Hazuki appeared, and she laid out the challenge against Dash Chisako. They decided, let's do this in Cork and Hall in July. Let's make it no DQ. So again, another great Sendai Girls card coming up. Cork and Hall, July the 19th, with Hazuki versus Dash Chisako in one of the big matches coming up at Cork and Hall. But again, Hazuki, not done yet. Let's talk about a little bit of Catch the Wave. Catch the Wave. Pro Wrestling's Catch the Wave 2025 tournament is in full swing now. And here are some of the results from the past week or so from one of our beloved Stardom participants. Again, a lot of Hazuki love on this podcast all the time, right? Because, again, she's the people's champion. She's Hazuki. In the Mercury block, Hazuki has started with a perfect 2-0 record, gaining wins over Nanami and Rina Amakora, with just one match left against Yuki Miyazaki. The Wild Heart is in prime position for progression for winning the block. In the Saturn block, God's Eyes, Rana Yugami. Rana had a really breakout performance in this tournament last year, has had an inconsistent start with an opening loss to Tehamna, and then having a surprise win over one half of Red Energy and Miyuki Takase. With just one match left, she's going to be taking on Yuta Sakurai. Rana needs to win to this way so she can advance into the next round of the tournament. Lastly, a rookie, Akira Kuragani, opened her tournament account in the Uranus block with a double count out with Sakaguchi before losing to Mari Manji on the last show in Tokyo Square. Her final block match will see taking on Velita Loca teammate Zuki Aoki with a victory. Hopefully, if she wins, there is a possibility she will advance, but her chances of progressing in the tournament are very slim. So Aoki versus Akira, that looked like it could be a really interesting match, and it does look like Akira is joining Stars, which we'll get into when we talk about these shows. So great stuff there. And then our last part of news, we're going to be talking about Seedling. It was announced well in advance of the shows that we would see Kaguma at Seedling's debut, and her first match will be taking on the rookie Serena, who will have her first match. She'll be known as Selena Mizaora. Kaguma won a match handling just over 10 minutes, but it was an excellent showing for the rookie. I didn't get a chance to see this. This is Rob's writing, so Rob didn't get a chance to see it. He did tell me he enjoyed said match. Natsuko Tora was flanked by her Hate stablemates and faced off with Mirai Kaga in the semi-main event, and she picked up a win in about 13 minutes with certain members of Hate interfering. Hate does what they got to do. Hate's going to hate. Momo Watanabe, Rina, and Ruaka all doing a little bit of bending and breaking the rules, getting Natsuko Tora a big win. And Rob has an interesting note. This is Natsuko Tora's first singles win since defeating Micah at Dream Queendom 2024. Very interesting. I mean, I think it's because Tora really doesn't wrestle that many singles matches. But this is, I mean, geez, you're talking 6 months ago. So Tora getting her first win after she defeated Micah in that bloody, phenomenal no DQ match back at Dream Queendom. Elsewhere, Beyond the Sea single champ Veni had a successful title defense against Makoda, ending her reign, or was unsuccessful. Excuse me, I'm reading this wrong. So Veni dropped the Seedling Championship, lost to Makoka. 2 successful title defenses at 151 days. So Veni, who, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe she defeated Sari for that belt. But after defeating the Sun God, one of the best wrestlers on the planet, looked like Veni only had a 151-day run as she lost this past week losing the Seedling Championship. So there is all the news from one Mr. Rob Goodwin. So again, Rob, thank you so much for sending everything along so we can keep everybody up to date on the ongoings of these phenomenal Stardom wrestlers outside of Stardom. All right, folks, let's get into these two shows from this past weekend. We start in Namamatsu Saturday, June 14th. I'm just going to read over just the quick results, and then we'll do the Matt Turner highlights and the star ratings for said match. So attendance notes, and it was noted, I think a day before, that Azumi will be missing both shows from the 14th and the 15th due to poor health. I believe she was sick because I know that she is announced for this weekend's conversion show, and I think that she passed whatever medical exams that she needed to do. And again, we're going to be getting into was going to be an insane match, that no DQ, basically no rules match with Mila Vida Loca taking on the members of Neo Genesis. But it looked like Azumi was absent from these. Well, what didn't look like, she was absent from these said shows due to poor health. My guess was she was probably a little bit sick, and they wanted to keep her off said show. So nice that Azumi had a little bit of a weekend off, rested up, and looks like she's rearing ready to go for this weekend's big pay-per-view. That'll probably roll right into, maybe hopefully, fingers crossed, some announcements for the 5-star Grand Prix. The attendance for the show was 409 people. This is the 6th time the company has ran the venue, with the most recent attendance both being the highest that the company has drawn. The previous best was 378 on night 10 of the 2023 5-star Grand Prix. And then back in April, they had an attendance of 335 people back in April 13, 2024. So excuse me. So this is a 22.09% increase. So again, Stardom ran back in April as we were building up, April last year, as we're right around building up for last year's fantastic All-Star Grand Queendom. The year before, they ran on the 5-star Grand Prix, and this was just, basically a Stardom World show, a house show, and they outdrew those last 2 dates. 409 people, again, a 22% increase. The results are as follows. The Hate Trio of Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Azusa Inaba defeated Hazuki Kokoma and Kyoko Furusawa when Momo Watanabe forces Kikyo to tap out via the crossface chicken wing at 9 minutes and 32 seconds. Match number 2, we saw a three-way, an entertaining front three-way, as Saki Kashima was able to pin Emma with the super hot knee at 7 minutes and 20 seconds. That three-way also included one Yuna Mizumori singles match, a match that probably broke Rob Goodwin's heart, as Saka Korora defeated Fukin Death, reversing the O'Connor roll at 5 minutes and 6 seconds. 6-women tag saw the Hate Trio, Hate on a roll here, of Konami, Ruaka, and Rina defeating the God's Eye Trio of Tomoka Inaba, Lady C, and Kyoko Katatsu, when it is Konami hits a brutal buzzsaw kick on Kyoko at 9 minutes and 12 seconds. They did a great job playing up that match that they had last year at Josh Barnett's Bushido Bloodsport. And again, we'll get into it in a moment. 6-women tag action as Neo Genesis, Starlight Kid, Mei Sarah, and Miyu Amasaki defeated Suzu Suzuki, Akira Kuragani, and Aya Sakura when Miyu Amasaki pins Aya Sakura 12 minutes and 38 seconds with a 10 side. 6-women match. Semi-main event, God's Eye, Shuri, Hina, Rani Yagami defeating EXV of Hanako, Waka, and Rion. When Hina pins Rion with the modified jackhammer, 13 minutes, 22 seconds. Folks, Stardom, Hina, and Rion did a great job this past weekend. I'm going to get into it. Building up the future Stardom Championship match. We mentioned last week when this match was announced, we're like, could have put on New Blood, a Corkin, didn't need to be on a pay-per-view. Wow, I tell you what, the big thing coming out of these 2 weekend shows for me is I'm so excited for Hina versus Rion, because they did a good job putting a huge focal point on that match. Main event saw the Stars trio of the only 3 members of Stars, Hanan, Saya Ida, and Momokogo defeating Natsupoi Soriano and Uriah Hemi when Momokogo pins Uriah Hemi with the Nectar Peach at 14 minutes even. Following the main event, Uriah Hemi made her desire to join Stars. However, she also said that she knows that she has lost a lot of matches recently and then needs to do something big to join the faction. She then asked Momokogo to be her partner as she challenges for the New Blood Tag Team Championships coming up on the 4th of July, our nation's birthday over here in the United States, in Tokyo Square in Itabashi. So really good stuff. Really, and I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago when Rob said, "Who would you like to see on these new blood shows, especially in like a main event match?" I said Momo Kogo. I think she'd be perfect. You don't need your Saya Kamatani. You don't need your Momo Watanabe or Starlight Kid. Like, they're your big stars. You can put them on from time to time. But I think Momo Kogo will be perfect for the new blood concept. And she's on a roll. They're doing a great job really highlighting her in these 6-person tag matches. I made mention just about every week for the last month that I would love to see an artist match somewhere soon with Neo Genesis of Starlight Kid, Azumi, and Miyu Amasaki, the artist champions, against Hanan, Saida, and Momo Kogo. I think that would be an absolute barn burner of a match. So I do like how Uriah Himi's like, look, I want to join Stars. I know you guys are recruiting because you need members and you're recruiting all the rookies. I like how she's very much like, I want to go, but before you take me, I need to get some wins. Let me get some wins and earn my spot in Stars. This is the group that was founded and led by the great Mayu Iwatani for so many years. Like, in order for me to join this faction, the oldest faction in Stardom, I need to get some wins. And I mean, look who's in the faction. You get Momo Kogo. She's on a great run. Hanan, Saida, they're the Goddesses Stardom Tag Team Champions, arguably the best tag team in all of wrestling. They won the Tag League last year. They were the New Blood Tag Champs. Hanan won the Cinderella Tournament back in 2024. Hanan and Saida had great showings in last year's 5-star Grand Prix. Hanan actually made it to the semifinals before losing to Saya Kamatani. So I like it how Uriah Himi's like, look, if I need to be in this faction, but I want to earn my way. So I think that's really cool. Again, I would like her to join EXV just so we can have another Mai Himi. But obviously, Mike is on the shelf for who knows, anywhere from 6 to 8 months with that arm injury. So again, really, really great stuff. And thank you to one Mr. Rob Goodwin for sending in said notes. And again, he did send in the part of the notes for the conversion, which again, that'll be the main event of said show. But folks, let's get into the highlights. I feel like I'm on ESPN Sports. And let's get into the highlights from another great show from our friends over at Stardom. We go to June 14th, Flag Day here in the United States, my brother's birthday. Again, 409 people. Opening match, as we mentioned before, did see the Hate Trio of Momo Watanabe, Natsuko and Azusa Inaba defeating Kyoko Furusawa, Hazuki, and Kaguma FWC. Match starts off, show starts off, Hate Jump, because why not? Let's start the show off hot. Hate Jump, we get a brawl all over the building. Really great stuff with Momo and Hazuki. That's a feud that I really want to see. Great stuff with Kyoko versus Azusa Inaba, the two young wrestlers. Excellent stuff there. Tora is such a great heel, especially in these tag matches. She does such a great job putting heat and building heat and cheating and bending and breaking the rules and getting sympathy on the babyface she's beating up. And that's what happens here to the young Kyoko. They do a great job beating her up. And then Azusa comes in and really is the hammer here. Eventually, though, Kaguma comes in. She hits a high crossbody onto Azusa. Hazuki cleans house. We have FWC and Kyoko hitting a triple boot scrape onto the Hate Trio. I really like that. I thought that was great. Kyoko hits a flying octopus onto Momo Watanabe. Again, we made mention it on her debut match, how she just kind of stops at a dime, jumps, and then just jumps into that modified octopus stretch, abdominal stretch. It's really amazing. And Momo Watanabe here towards the end of the match did a lot of selling and really gave Kyoko a lot of action. I mean, considering the fact that Kyoko's had matches, that just goes to show you how an unselfish performer Momo Watanabe is. Eventually, though, it is some great teamwork with Momo and Natsuko really beating down FWC and the young rookie. We do see Momo Watanabe goes for the Tequila Sunrise. Kyoko rolls out and rolls through for a near fall. Again, Momo giving the young wrestler a near fall here. Eventually, head kick leads to the crossface chicken wing for the tap out. Really good stuff here. 3 3/4 stars for me. We go to the three-way dance with Saki Kashima, Yuna Mizumori, and Emma Mashimiya. This was just comedy. It was comedy, some fun stuff. It was kind of pitching people to the floor. Some really fun stuff back and forth. Again, it's a 5-minute match. You're just gonna get in your spots. Saki Kashima does a great job with their comedy, with their timing. Excellent high-speed action with Yuna and Emma. We may mention this quite a bit on the Stardom cast that May Sarah, since these new rules have been involved at the beginning of the year, there's only been 2 challenges. And I don't think she's defended the belt in over 100 days. 2 right here. We saw May and Yuna back, I think it was last year, had a really great main event in Cork and Hall for the high-speed championship. Emma does work the high-speed style. Again, she had her debut match against Azumi, was able to keep up with Azumi, which is saying something. I mean, that's a chore in itself. right here, you have two makeshift high-speed, right? And we got to see it a little bit here. Ultimately, though, it is Saki Kashima being just outsmarting both these wrestlers and being so dastardly, hitting the Angel's Wings for the 3 count. I had this at 3 stars. Match number 3 of this show, we go to Fukin Death. Fukin and Death taking on the winner of this year's Cinderella tournament, Sayaka Kurora. We did have a lot of fun comedy in this match. We had some really fun stuff, some great back and forth, some great near falls. Ultimately, though, again, it's only about a 5-minute match. You do have Sayaka Kurora hits that jumping second rope form, that twisting form that she does, which is a thing of beauty. Great bump and feed from one Fukin Death. She hits the Golden Gate swing for a 2 count. She goes for the spear. However, Fukin Death is able to stop that spear. She goes for her roll up, but she gets rolled up. Sayaka Kurora getting maybe an upset win over the very veteran one Fukin Death. Again, I gave this one the gentleman's 3 stars. Folks, we go to match number 4 as we're going to start picking up the intensity and the violence as we have God's Eye, Kyoto Katatsu, Lady C, and Tomoka Inaba taking on Rina, Kunami, and Ruaka. There was some great stuff with Tomoka Inaba and Rina to start this match. Really great chain wrestling back and forth. Great strikes, great timing. Again, we're kind of fantasy booking who we want to see in blocks in the 5-star Grand Prix, right? Like my big match that I want to see in the 5-star Grand Prix, and I hope they're in each other's block, is Shuri and Saya Kamatani. Now, the way that they had the blocks last year with the 4 blocks, which I'm a fan of, I have no problem. If you do remember, they did have it as Mike as red belt champion, Soriano as white belt champion, or Mike as red belt champion in one block, Soriano in another block as Wonder champion, Suzu Suzuki in another block as she was the winner of the previous year's 5-star Grand Prix, and Mayu as IWGP in another block. Because of the rendezvous shows, eventually the belts got switched with Tor winning the red belt and Natsupoi winning the white belt, the Wonder belt. But if they do that, and I have no problem with it, it's like you have, you're obviously Mike is injured, so you won't have her there, but you do have like one big champion in each block. So it would be Kamatani and Shuri. If Shuri is successful this weekend, they'll be in different blocks. However, that was a long way of me going about it. The match I want to see the most in the 5-star Grand Prix, and I hope they're in each other's block, is Shuri versus Saya Kamatani. Another match I would like to see, and I hope they're in each other's block based on this opening sequence, Tomoka Inaba versus Rina. Really great chemistry, great stuff. They're both young. Rina, 18 years old, 19 years old, and Tomoka Inaba, I think, is like 20, 21. So like combined age of like 40, which is maddening for how great they were. Really great stuff with Kunami and Tomoka Inaba as well. That's another block that I wouldn't mind seeing, having them two go 10, 11, 12 minutes, and then they're just beating the crap out of each other. Kyoto Kutatsu, she was terrific. And Lady C, we've been saying this for the better part of 2 years. She maximizes every second that she's in the ring. And she's somebody, if you remember, when they had that tournament for the play-in for the 5-star Grand Prix, had a great 8-9 minute match in Cork Hall with Momo Kogo. I'm hoping Lady C does get the opportunity to participate in this year's 5-star Grand Prix, because we know that she takes advantage of every second she has in the ring, and you're going to put her in the biggest tournament in all of wrestling with the best roster in all of wrestling, especially when we need other wrestlers to step up. And the whole roster really has stepped up, but I think giving Lady C that spotlight would be genius. And I thought she was terrific here. Ultimately, though, we get some great stuff here with Kunami and Lady C. Kunami hitting the penalty kick to Lady C. Kyoto Katatsu, she comes in, rolling armbar to Konami. Konami rolls through that and then puts a Fujiwara armbar on Kyoto. We have Tomoka Inaba. She comes in. She makes the save. Kicks to all, especially Konami. Again, Tomoka Inaba versus Konami. Yes, please. Really good stuff there. Eventually, though, it is we get some bending and breaking of the rules and some pitching out into the crowd of Lady C and Tomoka Inaba. That opens up the door for Konami to hit a brutal buzzsaw kick on Kyoto Katatsu for the 3 count, 3.5 stars. Folks, we go to match number 5 as we have Neo Genesis. Again, obviously, we had mentioned at the top of the show, Azumi was out with an illness, so Azumi cannot make said show. However, they're well represented here in Neo Genesis. Wonder of Stardom champion Starlight Kid, high-speed champion Mei Sarah, and former future Stardom champion Miyu Amasaki, taking on kind of a makeshift team here of Suzu Suzuki and Akira Kurigami, obviously representing Mi La Vida Loca, and one Aya Sakura, obviously representing God's Eye, the Sendai Girls Junior Championship. We get some great chain wrestling with Aya Sakura and Starlight Kid to start off the match. Again, Aya's another one. My guess is she's going to be in the 5-star Grand Prix participating in her first tournament. I think she's going to be that's going to be a breakout performance for her because she's fantastic. And we're going to give her that spotlight against whoever's in her block. Tomoka Inaba, Kamatani, Mama Watanabe, Starlight Kid, Soriano, Natsupoi, Azumi. I mean, just go down the roster. I'm so excited to see the summer of Aya Sakura because I think she's going to come out as a massive star. Really great stuff with her and Starlight Kid to start. Wouldn't mind 7-8 months if Starlight Kid is still the Wonder Champion. That would be a really, really great match between the two. And Starlight Kid's going to take care of Aya and get her over because, again, Starlight Kid's next level, in my opinion, with the exception of Saya Kamatani, the biggest star in this company. Great stuff there. May Sarah comes in and she just hits the forever dropkicks in the corner. I mean, the gas tank on May Sarah is incredible. She never gets winded. She never gets tired, but like dropkick after dropkick after dropkick. Like, I'm losing my breath just talking about it. Excellent stuff there. Suzuki comes in. She cleans house. Double spear to Starlight Kid to Miyu Amasaki. We get Suzu and May Sarah. We get a big slugfest between the two. As you remember, 2 months ago, they had a show-stealing match at All-Star Grand Queendom and that no disqualification match. So there's still somewhere to go there. And again, I'm sure we're going to be seeing quite a bit of them slugging it out this week at the conversion. Really great stuff there. May comes in, stops Suzuki with a big super kick. Suzu comes back with a German suplex onto May Sarah to slow down the fastest of fast wrestlers, the high-speed champion, and one May Sarah. Akira and Miyu Amasaki have a forearm trade-off. Really great stuff there. Akira then is able to hit a massive kick and a crossface, putting Miyu into a crossface. Eventually, though, Starlight Kid and May Sarah, they come in for the save. We get the 6 running boots, Neo Genesis style, to Akira Kurogami. Aya comes in with the Joshi drop kick to Starlight Kid and May Sarah. Then we get a knee sandwich to Miyu Amasaki. We're starting to now get the waterfall finishes, which is it's really great with top stars. Mayu was great with, obviously, Queen's Quest back in the day with Utami, Azumi, and Sai Kamatani, like these big, crazy finishes towards the end. That's what Neo Genesis is all about. The high speed, the intensity, everybody getting really cool stuff in and building to great finishes. So we're getting the waterfall finishes between these two teams. Miyu Amasaki goes to put Akira away with a Tensai. However, Akira is able to slip out, hits a 6-1, or hits an Insaguri, an Insaguri to stop Miyu Amasaki. Starlight Kid comes in. She hits a dropkick to the back of Akira, hits the 619. That is able to open up the door for Miyu Amasaki to finally hit the Tensai that she tried about 2 minutes earlier and get the 3 count onto Akira. 3 3/4 stars. Really, really solid match. Semi-main event. Shuri, Ranayagami, and Hina taking on Hanako, Waka, and Rion, 3 last members of EXV. Really great stuff as Hina and Rion start the match off. And I'm like, ooh, if this is a preview of what we're going to get at the conversion, this is going to be great because Hina's done a great job stepping up. She really has. And again, Rion is somebody that's over. She's having great matches. She's really starting to up her game. Finally got that first big win at Cork and Hall. It is now in a prominent spot here. Is in a championship match on the conversion. And again, I know a lot of people wanted a red belt and white belt match. Obviously, me as well. Who doesn't want to see Sai Kamatani defend the red belt? Who doesn't want to see Starlight Kid defend the white belt? But if you have those matches on there, you're going to almost kind of forget about Hina versus Rion. There's 3 championship matches on said show, and they're doing a great job putting a massive focus on Hina versus Rion. So again, let's take a look at the positive. And there's more of a focus on this match. They did a great job on this show and the next show, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes, really highlighting these 2 wrestlers in that match and ultimately just getting the belt over and making this match, putting a bigger spotlight on it, putting into a better light. Really great stuff to start off. Eventually, rice or bread, also known as Wanako here on the Stardom Cast. Hanako and Waka, they come in and clean house. We get some really great stuff with Shuri and Hanako. Again, I wouldn't mind seeing that in a block match on the 5-star Grand Prix. I mean, 2 great hard hitters. Waka and Ranayagami, they have a great segment as well. They wind up working really well together. But ultimately, it's just kind of these other members of EXV and God's Eye. They kind of come in, they do what they need to do. They kind of play the hits a little bit, and they not bail out, but they give the spotlight to Hina and Rion because that's what this match is about. Again, you have Shuri, arguably the best wrestler in the world, right? So she can easily take the spotlight for said match. Hanako and Waka are really great tag team. And Waka's doing another great wrestler, really stepping up her game these last 2 or 3 months. But ultimately, it's like they kind of come in, get out, they tell their stories, and they let Hina and Rion. They give their stuff time to breathe. Really great closing sequence between the two, with eventually Hina hitting the modified jackhammer for the 3 count, 3 3/4 stars. And again, kudos to these two really making their championship match coming up this weekend really mean something on these 2 preview tag matches. We go to the main event as we have the Stars trio, Saida, Momokogo, and Hanan, getting the win over Uriah Hime, Soriano, and Natsupoi. Now, just made mention a few seconds ago that they did a great job building up Rion versus Hina for the future championship coming up at the Conversion. These 2 shows also did a great job building up the tag team match between Soripoi, Soriano, Natsupoi, and Wingori, because we got a little bit of a preview in the beginning and the end of said match. Really great stuff. And again, they had, in my opinion, my all-time favorite Goddess of Stardom tag team tournament match on the semifinals last year. They had the match, I think, like halfway through the tournament where it went to the time limit draw, and then they had that playoff match, and I was like, man, as I've been covering Stardom for 4 years, and I went back and watched a lot of the big matches of the Goddess of Stardom Tag League, I think that's my favorite match in the history of the Goddess of Stardom tournament. And that match only went 12 and a half minutes. This is going to be semi-main event. You know it's going to go somewhere close to 20. Wingori is better now than they were 6-7 months ago when they won said tournament. Soripoi is always great. They never lost the tag belts, and their star power is undeniable. Again, 2,800 people in Old Award City Gym. They're a hot commodity. So they do a great job building this up. Uriah Hime was great as well. So was Momokogo. I thought their sequences towards the middle and towards the end were terrific. We do see Hanan and Natsupoi. They get a forearm exchange. Natsupoi gets the better of Hanan, hits the basement drop kick to the winner of last year's Cinderella tournament. Great Soripoi Wingori exchanges, which is really the highlight of said match. Uriah Hime is able to stop one Momokogo, hits her with the big boot. Wingori hit double dives to take out Soripoi. So then we get this mini singles match between Momokogo and Uriah Hime, which was really, really good. Excellent stuff there. Uriah Hime, her stock has gone up quite a bit these last 4 or 5 weeks. And again, we all love us some Momokogo. Sweetheart of a person. Rob and I got to meet her at last year's WrestleMania weekend. One of my favorite meet and greets. Is a super nice person. The fact that everything she overcomes in her life to be a really great wrestler, the fact she's being highlighted now in Stars and in Stardom more than ever is just a kudo just to her perseverance as a person, as a wrestler, which we love to see. Again, great stuff with Wingori and Soripoi. Ultimately, though, we do get a quick 2-3 minute match towards the end with Uriah Hime, who she was really game against one Momokogo. Momokogo hits the Nectar Peach for the 3 count. My favorite match of this show. I gave it 4 stars. Folks, we go to the next show. Let's hold on 1 second, folks. I just got to pull up my notes from one Mr. Rob Goodwin. The show from the 15th. And again, obviously, we do know that Azumi's missing from the show due to her poor health. Again, smart on Stardom. If she's sick, pull her off the show. So this show, though, then Hazuki and Akira Kurigami will be missing from the show due to commitments from Pro Wrestling Wave. Kagama will also be missing from the show as he's seconding Hazuki in her block match. Nice little FWC, always staying together. So again, I think it's really cool that obviously FWC is a big draw for Stardom, but they let them go to catch the wave. So it just goes to show you how they're willing to play ball with all these other promotions. Because again, whether you like Sendai Girls better or Marigold better or whatever, that's fine. That's your prerogative. You can't deny that as far as attendance and numbers go. Stardom is the #1 company, so it's nice to see them loaning talent out to help out some of the other companies with drawing and match quality, because you're not going to get too much better. There's not too many better wrestlers on the planet than the People's Champion one, Hazuki. The attendance for this note that they have in the Shiga Prefectural Cultural Center was 403 people. This is the 5th time the company ran the venue with a 2-person decrease. So right around the same. They had 405 people in July of last year. This is only the 2nd time they have ran the venue. And last time they ran it was 400. Again, 400 as well. So 405 to 403. So a 2-person decrease. See, if they had Hazuki on, I think they would have drawn at least 3 more people, and they would have had a positive number. But regardless, 2 people in Maibara. again, another packed house. They were loud, really enjoyable show. The quick results are as follows. The opener, Hanako, Waka, and Rian defeating the team of Suzu Suzuki, Hina, and Uriah Hime, whereas Rian getting the win with her modified roll-up called the Apricot, 10 minutes, 32 seconds. Tag team action, BMI 2000, one of my favorite tag teams in Stardom that I don't think get enough love. Big match coming up on this weekend. BMI 2000, Natsutori and Ruaka defeating the new rookies of Emma and Kyoko with Ruaka pinning Emma with the neck hanging bomb. It's basically the double choke bomb. 10 minutes, 22 seconds. More tag team action as Saki Kashima teams with Tomoka Inaba. They defeat the Cosmic Angels duo of Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurora when it's Saki Kashima, the dastardly Saki Kashima, getting the surprise win with the Kishikasai on this year's winner of the Cinderella tournament, Sayaka Kurora, with again Kishikasai, 10 minutes, 14 seconds. 6 women tag action, Hate Trio of Konami, Rion, and Fuki in Death, defeating the Neo Genesis trio of Starlight Kid, Maysair, Miyu Amasaki, when it is Konami choking out Miyu Amasaki with the sleeper hold, the rear naked choke, 12 minutes and 2 seconds. Fukin Death finally getting a win. She's been on a little bit of a losing streak here, folks, so I'm sure that helps. That makes one Rob Goodwin happy. We go to semi-main event. Again, the Hate Trio. Hate, they picked up a lot of wins here this weekend. Hate of Sai Kamatani, Momo Watanabe, and Azusa Inaba defeating God's Eye of Sherry, Lady C, and Rana Yugami when Momo Watanabe pins Lady C with the B driver, 12 minutes, 54 seconds. That was a phenomenal match. And in our main event, the Cosmic Angels of Natsupoi and Soriano and Yuna Mizumori picking up a big win over Hanan, Saida, and Momo Kogo of Stars when is Soriano bringing back a deadly move. Soriano getting the win over Hanan, 14 minutes and 44 seconds with the Tom's Tundra. It was back, folks. Soriano breaking out the Tom's Tundra, getting a big win in a great match. So, folks, let's get into, again, I feel like I'm on Sports Center. Let's get into the highlights of this great show in front of 400 people. Again, we open with EXV, Hanako, Waka, and Rion picking up a win over Uriah Hime, Suzu Suzuki, and Hina. Again, we start off with Hina and Rion, Future Stardom Championship match coming up and just this weekend. They did a great job highlighting this match, considering you have the New Blood Tag Team Champions here. You have Hanako, who made it to the finals of last year's Goddess Tournament. Suzu Suzuki won the 2023 5-star Grand Prix. She's a big star. What do? Everybody kind of tells their story they need to, but they lay out because they know, unselfishly, the main thing in this match is we need to get more attention on this Future Stardom Championship. And they give the ball to Rion and Hina. And they score touchdowns. They hit home runs. They hit slam dunks because, again, very much like the match on the 14th, really great stuff between the two. Hanako really, really overpowers Uriah Hime. Suzu Suzuki is able to stop Hanako with a brutal knee strike. Again, wouldn't mind seeing Suzu and Hanako in the same bracket in the 5-star Grand Prix. Rion hits that beautiful corner Rana to Hina, follows up with the drop kick. Uriah Hime comes in. She must be watching her Stephanie Vaquer stuff because she used the old Devil's Kiss, which I believe was invented by Motor City Machine Gun member Alex Shelley. First time I saw it was like 20-some years ago, done by Alex Shelley. And he had another name for it, which I cannot say on this podcast. If you want to know what the name of it, message me, folks, and I will tell you because it's a bad word in it. But anywho, she does the Devil's Kiss onto Rion. Rion is able to come back, get a little bit of a comeback here. This is a really cool spot as we do see Rion and Hanako. Really great teamwork here between the two. And then she does a leapfrog off Hanako and hits a double stomp onto Uriah Hime for a 2 count. I'm like, oh, we don't have Micah. She's injured. Xena, she's injured. Mina Shirakawa is tearing it up in AEW. So let's no problem. We got you. We got you, Micah. We got you. That was really good stuff here. Again, really great teamwork with EXV. They are Anita members, though. Uriah hits boots to Rion. Rion is able to come back, hit the stunner. Stone Cold Rion hits the stunner and that modified code red that she calls the apricot for the 3 count. Uriah Hime, 3.5 stars. Really great way to open up said show. We go to match number 2 as the 2 new rookies of Emma and Kyoko Furusawa taking on BMI 2000. Great way to build up BMI 2000 for what is going to be a really great underneath card tag match with FWC this week, and I'm really looking forward to it. This almost starts off as like a modified squash with Tora and Ruaka really taking into task of these 2 rookies. And I'm like, okay, clearly we are building for a big match of BMI 2000 coming up soon, which again, obviously FWC, one of the best tag teams in wrestling. So again, they're rookies, Emma and Kyoko. They don't need too much here. They're getting beat down by the former red belt champion, Natsuko and Ruaka, who does really great at tag team wrestling, especially when she's teamed with Tora. We do see some great fire with Emma and Kyoko. They do have a really good comeback. Great submissions again from Kyoko. The rolling knee bar she does. Emma does the springboard high cross body. Really great stuff, but their shine doesn't last too long, as eventually, though, they get put down with a lariat sandwich to Emma, and that opens up the door for Ruaka to hit the choke bomb for the 3 count. 3.25 stars, but ultimately what this was is just giving the rookies a little bit towards the end to shine them up, but making BMI 2000 really look dominant, as I think they have a really good shot at maybe being future challenges for the Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Championship. Match number 3, the God's Eye duo. Kind of weird duo. Tomoka Inaba and Saki Kashima, but they made it work, getting the win over the Cosmic Angels of Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurora. This is really great stuff. Tomoka and Aya, great chain wrestling. And I liked how, because again, their strengths are their kicks. Aya, high kick angel. Tomoka Inaba, I mean, those kicks that she hits on certain wrestlers, it's whew. I think even sometimes Sherry's like wowzers when Sherry's in said match. But there was great stuff where like they would get a wrist lock, and then the opponent would low kick to break the wrist lock and get the wrist lock. So they would go back and forth with the low kicks and their wrist lock. I really like that. Again, I know I'm foreshadowing a lot. Wouldn't mind seeing Aya and Tomoka Inaba in the same bracket of the 5-star Grand Prix, because their styles of wrestling, folks, is right up my alley. Really good stuff. Aya hits a double jump Joshi drop kick and then a mid kick for a 2 count on Tomoka Inaba. Sayaka Kurora and Tomoka Inaba, they have a really great forearm trade-off. Again, really great stuff there, considering Sayaka Kurora is a really underneath babyface. He does a great job taking a butt kicking, but yet making her comeback mean something. So she had really great chemistry with Tomoka Inaba here and really showed that fire with the strike exchange with Tomoka, which you kind of have to. Like when they were trading forearms, I'm like, this is going to end well for our Cinderella champion. And it doesn't, but she does a great job building herself up in those forearms. And Tomoka does a great job feeding and selling for said forearms. But ultimately, it just didn't end well because, again, you're in there with one of the hardest hitters in all of wrestling, in Tomoka Inaba. However, Sakura, she does lose the forearm exchange, but she uses that brain of hers, because what she does to take down Tomoka Inaba is that springboard 360 forearm strike that she does. I don't think she has a name for it yet. If she does, folks, let me know. And if she doesn't have a name for it, let's make a name for it. Maybe the Cinderella spin. I don't know. All right, just let me know. Really, really great stuff. I like how she does that. Tomoka Inaba hits a pump kick to Sayaka Kurora. Eventually, Saki Kashima is able to block the Falcon Arrow attempt from Sayaka Kurora and roll up our Cinderella champion in the Kishikasai for a 3 count, 3.5 stars. I am a little concerned that Sayaka Kurora wins the Cinderella tournament, loses a couple matches on her road for Saya Kamatani, has the best performance of her career in Korakuen Hall against Saya Kamatani. Again, it's Saya Kamatani. And then she's like losing more and more matches. She's just like a weird Cinderella tournament winner. Like, again, she looked great in the tournament. Obviously, great matches with Rion and Zeus Inaba and whatnot. But maybe get her some more wins here. I don't think it would have been the worst thing in the world if she hit the Falcon Arrow, maybe the Takamaki Spear onto Saki Kashima and pinned her, or got a surprise win over Tomoka Inaba. I just really think with the 5-star coming up, more than likely she's going to be in it. I mean, she won the Cinderella tournament, had a great red belt match in front of a packed Korakuen Hall. My guess is she's going to be in the 5-star Grand Prix. Maybe give her a little momentum going in. And it's always cool to see the wrestlers win the Cinderella tournament and you build them up for the 5-star, because only one wrestler in the history of Stardom has won the 5-star Grand Prix and the Cinderella tournament in the same year, and that was Toni Storm back in 2017. So it's like Toni Storm's doing well for herself. So why wouldn't you do? That's a really good play to make. Why wouldn't you have maybe Toni Storm, or not Toni Storm, but you can be like very much like Hanan last year, won the Cinderella tournament, made it to the semifinals of the 5-star Grand Prix, and we even said when Rob and I previewed the show, it's a really cool thing that you can say. You can be like, well, if Hanan wins, she'll be the only wrestler other than Toni Storm to win the 2 big tournaments in the same year. And again, being in the same breath as Toni Storm, it's really good company, because again, former red belt champion in Stardom, had a great run in Stardom, really decent. She had a good run in NXT, WWE was pretty well, but she's crushing in AEW, especially now. Again, big match coming up with Mercedes Moné in just about 1 month's time. I'm really excited for that. But again, maybe building up Sayakura a little bit here, make it look like she has a shot of winning the 5-star Grand Prix, which the odds would not be in her favor. As they say in those Hunger Games movie. 3.5 stars though. Really solid stuff. Again, I just hope that Sayakura starts getting some wins between now and the 5-star Grand Prix to really give her some momentum going into the biggest tournament of the year. We go to 6-person tag action. Konami, Fukin Death, and Arena taking on Starlight Kid, Mei Seira, and Miyu Amasaki representing Neo Genesis. We get a fast start with Starlight Kid and Fukin Death, again, 2 former high-speed champions. Really great stuff there. Eventually, though, the odds are not in Fukin Death's favor as she eats the 6 boots to Fukin Death. Eventually, though, Konami and Arena have seen enough. A Wedo tie is going to Wedo tie, and hate's going to hate. We do get the wild brawl all over the building. Konami starts kicking away at Starlight Kid. Eventually, Arena, Starlight Kid, they have a boot exchange. Starlight Kid is able to get the better of Rena. And I liked how Starlight Kid's first 2 defenses of the Wonder of Stardom Championship was against Rena and Konami. Both Rena at the Path of Thunder, and Konami, the main event match on the final night of the Cinderella tournament. So we had some plays there. Obviously, they work really well with each other. 2 great matches for Starlight Kid. So we did see some Starlight Kid and Rena action and Starlight Kid and Konami action. I was like, oh, I remember these matches just from a few months ago for Starlight Kid's Wonder of Stardom Championship. Really great chemistry Starlight Kid has with Rena and Konami, and it was really ever present here. We do see Mei Seira. She saves the day. Springboard Joshi dropkick, taking out Rion and Fukin Death. Konami then is able to take away Mei Seira with the penalty kick, breaking down Mei Seira. Miyu Amasaki then comes in and stops Konami's violence with the hammerlock DDT. That scores her a 2 count. Miyu Amasaki then hits the leg capture O'Connor roll for Konami for the 2 count. However, it is Konami able to fire back with those strikes. The buzzsaw kick opens up the door for the rear naked choke, forcing Miyu Amasaki to tap out. 3 3/4 stars for me. Folks, we go to the semi-main event as the God's Eye Trio of Lady C, IWGP Women's Champion Shuri, and Ron Yugami taking on the Hate Trio, Momo Watanabe, Azusa Inaba, and the best wrestler in all of wrestling, the World of Stardom Champion, Saya Kamatani. We get a great start of this match with Ron Yugami and Azusa Inaba. May as well say it, folks, would not mind seeing them in a singles match at the 5-star Grand Prix if they're in each other's blocks. Shuri and Momo Watanabe, big brawl on the floor. There's some great exchanges with Shuri and Momo in this match, and some next level stuff with Shuri and Saya Kamatani. Again, what I took from these 2 shows, other than the fact that Stardom's amazing, is great build up with Soriano and Natsupoi versus Wingori, and we'll talk about that in a moment, for this weekend's conversion show, and perfect build up with Rion and Hina for the future Stardom Championship. Another thing I took away from these 2 shows, especially this match, Shuri's IWGP champion. Do we get a Shuri versus Momo Watanabe match? Shuri and Saya Kamatani, maybe for Saya Kamatani's red belt. Do we get that? We have not seen Shuri and Saya Kamatani have a singles match since 2021. Folks, it's been 4 years. These 2 wrestlers are on top of their game. Shuri is big match Shuri. Saya Kamatani, again, 6 months into this year, she's the best wrestler in wrestling. I think the only other 2 wrestlers that are even close to her, for me, are Io and Will Ospreay. But really great stuff. The exchanges with Momo and Shuri, anytime we see them, whether it was DDM versus Queen's Quest, whether it was God's Eye versus Oedo Tai or Hate Momo Watanabe, you get those flashbacks of, some people tell me it's their favorite match in Stardom history, the finals of the 2021 5-star Grand Prix. And these 2 wail into each other. Back in 2022 in the summer of Midsummer's champion for Shuri's World of Stardom Championship. It's been a long time. We need that singles match. Again, we're not mind seeing Shuri, Momo Watanabe in the 5-star Grand Prix. Maybe that's a match to put on night 1, or maybe in your semifinals, if that's the way they go on the final night. I don't know. Regardless, really great stuff with Shuri and Momo, and the next level stuff with Shuri and Saya Kamatani. I mean, that again, that's the match I want to see the most in the 5-star Grand Prix, or even coming off it. That's a championship match. I love the IWGP Championship. Kyrie, obviously next level. Mercedes Moné. I mean, some people tell me that they think she's the best wrestler in the world. I'm not going to argue with you. Mayu Iwatani, what she did with that belt was nuts. Just absolutely the best IWGP champion since Okada, the 2016-2017 run. No disrespect to that belt. When they do pull the trigger on the big singles match, it's got to be for the World of Stardom Championship. I mean, it's in my opinion, the most important belt in all of wrestling, but want to see Shuri versus Saya Kamatani, World of Stardom Championship match. And we don't get that. Again, I'm good with the special singles match. I'm good with the match of the 5-star Grand Prix because that'll probably go to the old TLD. But regardless, man, we need to see Shuri versus Sai Kamatani. I think that might end world hunger. That match should be that good. In all seriousness, folks, we do get some great teamwork on the Lady C. Kick sandwich to Momo Watanabe. We get the waterfall finishes. Lady C hits a huge choke slam onto Momo Watanabe for a 2 count. Momo Watanabe comes back with a head kick and the tequila sunrise to Lady C. Saya Kamatani helps Momo Watanabe out with a 360 grounded kick. Saya Kamatani then takes out Shuri and Ron Yagami with help of Azusa Inaba. That opens up the door for Momo Watanabe to hit the B driver on the Lady C for the 3 count. 3 and 3/4 stars for me. Big win from Momo Watanabe. And again, main crux of this match, Shuri versus Momo, looked amazing. Shuri versus Sai Kamatani, next level. And again, we have not had that match in 4 years since the 2021 5-star Grand Prix. Main event time, Stars, Momokogo, with the tag team champions of Saito and Hana Wingori, taking on Soripoi, Soriano, and Natsupoi in one Yuna Mizumori. So we got Cosmic Angels taking on Stars. Great stuff here again. The crux of this match is all about another preview of maybe the 2 best tag teams in all of wrestling that we're going to see this weekend at the Conversion with Soripoi and Wingori. Really great stuff to start this match off. We get a good Momo Watanabe and Yuna Mizumori dropkick exchanges. Soriano does the Muda lock into the Fisherman suplex onto Momo Kogo and Saida. Ida then starts chopping away at Yuna Mizumori. Yuna fires back. Again, wouldn't mind seeing Yuna versus Saida in the 5-star Grand Prix. They have very similar styles. Really great stuff between the two. Natsupoi hits the spider web octopus stretch into the armbar onto Saida. We get a great form exchange with Saida and Natsupoi. Again, I wouldn't mind seeing them in the 5-star Grand Prix. Really great stuff because Saida is one of the hardest hitters in Stardom. And you forget like how much of a badass the Murder Pixie is. Like she goes toe to toe with the gorilla on these form exchanges, which you'd love to see. Saida then is like, I had enough of this forearms. I'm going to go to the chops. Chops away at Natsupoi. Chops away at one Soriano. Eventually, Yuna Mizumori is able to slow down the gorilla, opening up the door for Natsupoi to hit the basement dropkick onto Saida. Soriano then stops Hanan with that beautiful missile dropkick onto Hanan. We get some great teamwork from Soripoi onto Hanan. Eventually, though, we get some great teamwork from Wingori onto Soriano. We do see Saida hits lariats to everybody. Momokogo hits a springboard plancha to the floor. That wipes out everybody. We get a phenomenal ending sequence here with Hanan and Soriano. Great near falls back and forth with the 17 roll up, with the Potter ring. Hanan hits the Hanan special for a 2 count. Again, folks, we know we got new listeners to the podcast all the time. Hello, welcome, and we thank you for your time. We know we got new watchers to Stardom all the time. If you have Stardom World, which if you're listening to this podcast, why don't you? It's like $7 a month. If you have Stardom World and you haven't seen it or haven't seen it in quite some time, go back to last year's All-Star Grand Queendom. I think it was April 23rd, 2024. Just look up All-Star Grand Queendom. Wonder Stardom Championship match, Soriano versus Hanan. It'll change your life. It was a phenomenal match, and we get glimpses here. Great ending sequence between the two. But eventually, it's Soriano who's able to pour everything on Hanan, is able to take that little opening that she has to hit the Tom's Tundra onto Hanan, scores her the 3 count. Soriano getting the win and taking some momentum to going into the Conversion this weekend. Great match. My favorite match of these 2 shows. 4 stars for me. Again, really great stuff. Momokogo here. She looked next level. Again, I really hope that she gets the nod to participate in this year's 5-star Grand Prix because I think she'll have some matches that'll really, really open up the eyes of the Stardom brass because we love us some Momokogo. Now, folks, obviously, if you have listened to the Stardom cast before, you know our last segment is Io and Kairi Watch. Because of what happened in Kairi's match, we're going to do the Io and Kairi Watch now, and we're going to end it on the Conversion preview and picks. I want to end it on a higher note. Again, if you don't know what happened in Io and Kairi Watch, we're going to talk about it right now. So, folks, it is now time for Io and Kairi Watch. And again, as always, folks, thanks to my main man, Darren Chatton, for helping me with some news and notes and some when to put on Monday Night Raw. Because Monday Night Raw actually happened on my wedding anniversary. So I know she doesn't listen to this podcast, but happy 13th wedding anniversary to my beautiful, beautiful bride, one Amber. I had a great weekend, folks. And not only was it my wedding anniversary, it was Father's Day as well. And for Father's Day, I put it up on social media. My beautiful daughter made me a great drawing of Soriano and Natsupoi. So I put that up on social media. If you haven't seen it yet, folks, and you want to see it, I know some of our listeners don't do social media. Drop me a line. I got no problem sharing my daughter's fantastic artwork on all over social media. And it was Soriano Natsupoi in their new gear from the Soriano Natsupoi 10th anniversary produce show from Oda Ward. That's the inspiration that she took for said drawing. But anywho, folks, 6/16 Monday Night Raw. Again, thanks, Darren, for giving me the time cues just because so jam-packed this past week in the best way possible. We start off with Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. Really great promo. Liv Morgan is an underrated wrestler in this loaded division. Obviously, we talk about the EOs. Asuka's back now. Kyrie, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Charlotte, Becky, Lila Valkyria, Bailey, because she's back. Liv Morgan's phenomenal. I watched that Elimination Chamber match at the beginning of this year, and she was bumping all over the place. Like, Liv Morgan is terrific. She comes out with Dominic Mysterio. They get great heat. She cuts a promo. She runs down Nikki Bella. Basically says, I've never got a rematch for that championship I never lost. Calls out Io. Io immediately comes out. Massive pop. As soon as Io gets in the ring, everybody's chanting for Io. You love to see it. Io cuts a really good promo. Her English is starting to get better, much better, because she's on the mic more. And I made mention this in a quick little sidebar. Julia's English is fantastic. You can tell she knew 2 years ago that she wanted to come to America and make herself a big star. Her English is great. And then I just watched the Mina Shirakawa interview that she did on YouTube with Renee Paquette, and her English is like flawless. And she did say that she did take English, like that was one of her majors or one of the things that she focused on when she was at university and college. So great to see. Again, Julia, great job on the English promos. Mina, great job on the English promos. Io is doing really great stuff. She was able to have a nice little back and forth with Liv Morgan here. Again, crowds all chanting for Io. And then Liv Morgan says, look, Io, if you don't want to wrestle me, that's fine. You can just give me the belt. You can just give me the belt right here, right now. I got no problem with that. We don't have to wrestle. I know that you're afraid of me. Good job building up heat. And then Io's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll give you the belt. She throws the belt out there, then drop kicks Liv Morgan. Dominic Mysterio goes to check on one Liv Morgan. He gets kicked in the head for efforts. Io then picks up the belt. Massive pop for Io. I thought that eventually that this is where they're going to go, a big Io versus Liv Morgan championship match, which is what I love, because Liv Morgan is, again, really, really good. And she really steps up her game when she's in the ring with these great wrestlers. And again, Io, my opinion, the best wrestler on the WWE roster. However, that will not be taking place for quite some time because we have Kyrie versus Liv Morgan. Again, my guess would be this is just to kind of build Liv Morgan up a little bit more as she would be heading into this match, probably with Io. Kyrie and Liv Morgan, they lock up. Kyrie goes for a single leg takedown. Liv takes the face bump, and Liv just landed wrong on her shoulder, popped her shoulder out. I think they said the initial prognosis is out 6 to 12 weeks. She immediately rolls out of the ring. The ref calls for the bell. And that was that, folks. That was that. And it's a shame because Kyrie's only been back for a little bit. She's been having great matches, getting some wins. And that first match back, Zoe Stark gets injured in the match on that missile drop kick, which freak accident happens. And here with Liv Morgan, they did a great job slowing it down and putting the replay on. And it was just like Liv Morgan went to go protect herself on the face bump. And when she did, she just came down hard on her right shoulder. And again, my guess is her shoulders probably wasn't 100% going into that match. Again, the style that she's been wrestling these last 6 or 7 months, she wrestles a really hard-hitting style, taking big bumps, that she's probably a little bit beat up, and most of these wrestlers are pro wrestling. And as I always say, folks, to quote the late, great Roddy Piper, anybody that answers a bell, I have my ultimate respect for. So we need to give these respect to all these wrestlers that put their body on the line night in and night out for our entertainment. And Liv just came down wrong on her shoulder. Again, my guess would be that she's probably maybe a little wear and tear, and this might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, so to say. I don't have any inside information on that. That would just be my guess because it was just a routine thing. And, I know I don't want to touch upon this, but I'll talk about it for 2 seconds. I know Kyrie's received a little bit of hate on social media saying, oh, she's back and she's injured Zoe Stark. No, Zoe Stark just came down wrong on a springboard crossbody. Oh, and then she injures Liv Morgan. No, Liv was protecting herself on that bump. Kairi had nothing to do with it, and she just came down wrong on her shoulder. Folks, it happens. Remember, Pac, the former Neville, wrestles a crazy style. He broke his leg like 7 years ago on a baseball slide. Like, you never know what is going to happen. So, nothing but love for Kairi. And Kairi looked great. Like, she was in that, like, lime green, blue gear. Like, she looked like $1 million. Kairi's got such a great, unique look. And then you put it on that big presentation that is Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Kairi looks like $1 zillion. But again, we hope, wish Liv Morgan a fast and safe recovery, and hopefully she gets back soon, because I would love to see her do a program with EO, do a program with Kairi. Great on the mic, great heel, really great wrestler, and working with those two next level wrestlers in Kairi and EO is only going to help everybody. It's only going to help everybody. So again, get well soon, Liv Morgan. Again, folks, I did not want to end the podcast on that note. So, folks, let's get into the preview of the conversion, preview and predictions, as we have our full card that is announced. I'm going to go through the full card, and then I'll give my predictions. And again, folks, comment below, comment section below, or hit me up. If you're watching on YouTube, put it there, or message me. Let me know what your predictions are for this show. Again, the conversion, I just checked a day or two ago. There's 14 sections in Yoyogi National Stadium. 12 of the 14 sections are sold out. If you remember, at Shine Forever just about a month ago, they did 2,500 people in the venue. Pending how it's scaled, I expect Stardom to do probably closer to 3,000, because again, 12 of 14 sections are sold out. My guess is that building probably holds a little over 3,000. So that would be my guess. If Marigold got 2,500 people there, Stardom will be probably right around the same, if not more. So, which is crazy, because there's no red or white belt match on this show. But the card is as follows for the conversion this weekend. Waka taking on Uriah Hime. We have the Cosmic Angels of Yuna Mizumori, Aya Sakura, and Sayaka Kurora taking on Momo Kogo and the two new rookies, Kyoko Furusawa and Emma Mashima. Then we have God's Eye of Saki Kashima, the returning Ami Sori, Lady C, and Rana Yagami taking on the Hate team of World of Stardom champion Saya Kamatani, Momo Watanabe, Rina, and Kunami. Special singles match. I'm really looking forward to this one. Risa Sera on her retirement road taking on Hanako. Special tag match. Another match I'm looking forward to. Everybody's saying this is a weak card. Sorry, I 100% disagree. FWC, Hazuki and Kagama taking on BMI 2000 of Natsuko and Ruwaka. We have just announced no rules. Pretty much almost anything goes. Trio, or not trio, basically unit battle. Neo Genesis, Starlight Kid, Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, and Mei Sarah taking on Mi, Levita, Loka, Suzuki, Akira Kurigami, Rina Yamashita, and Ichio Azuki Aoki. It's gonna be crazy. I knew when they announced this match, I was like, oh man, I want an artist match. But I tell you what, nobody does 8-person tag wrestling better than Stardom. And now we're doing no rules, especially like how crazy insane Rina, Aoki, and Suzu are. That's going to be nuts. That's going to be nuts. Future Stardom Championship match. Again, these two, chef's kiss for building up these two matches on the 14th and the 15th. Hina making a defense against Rion. Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Championship. Arguably the two best tag teams in all of wrestling. Semi-main event. Wingori, the tag team champions, making their defense against Soriano and Natsupoi. Soripoi. Remember, Soriano and Natsupoi, for all you history buffs there, 2 years ago, they were the Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Champions, defeating Rose Gold of Mariah May, now known as Blake Monroe, and Mina Shirakawa. Never lost the belts because Natsupoi had an injured neck, and they had to forfeit the belts, which eventually Aphrodite, Sai Kamatani, Utami Hayashisa did win. So Soriano and Natsupoi never lost these belts, folks. Never lost these belts. Main event, we saw it back at Starism show, folks. It's free on YouTube if you haven't seen it. Shuri versus Sari, IWGP Women's Championship match. Yes. This is going to be fantastic. All right, folks, let's get into some predictions. Uriah Hime versus Waka. Now, originally I would say Waka, but Uriah did say she needed to get some wins so she can feel that she earned her spot in Stars. I'm going to say Uriah Hime picking up the win here. I think this match is going to be on the preview. Cosmic Angels of Yuna, Aya, Sayaka versus Momo, Kikyo, and Emma. Man, I'd love to see Momo pick up a win here, but Cosmic Angels, they are more seasoned. Obviously, Aya teams really well with Sayaka. Yuna teams up really well with Aya as far as Sakura-Daman. I'm going to say Aya gets the pin over Emma. God's Eye with the return of Ami Sori, Saki Kashima, Ami, Lady C, and Rana versus Saya, Momo, Rina, and Konami. This one's a little tricky. I don't think you beat Ami in her return. Does Ami get a win and then challenge Saya Kamatani? I don't want to see that just yet because Ami's been out for about a year. I would rather see the Natsupoi, the Izumi, the Soriano match. I mean, you could, but I think Ami sort of gets the win here by pinning Konami. I think that's the way to go. But obviously, this is going to be a fun match. Saki Kashima, you never know with the roll up. Lady C, again, she maximizes every second that they give her in the ring. Rana's terrific. And then on the opposite side, Konami's been crushing it. Rina, one of the most improved wrestlers in all of wrestling this past year. Saya Kamatani and Momo Watanabe. Again, I think Saya is the best wrestler in the world right now. Momo Watanabe's not too far behind. My guess is maybe Momo Watanabe, a parent kick. Maybe she'll miss the kick or the baseball bat shot to slowly start building towards that face turn that we think that we're getting. Hanako versus Risa Sera. Risa Sera is retiring, I believe, at the end of this year. Hanako is a project that Stardom has been working on for the past few months, and it's been working because she's having great matches. She's over and she's drawing money. I think Hanako gets the win here. A lot of these matches are tough for me to predict here. FWC versus BMI 2000. You might want to have FWC get a win to kind of build some momentum, but at the same time, they're kind of going to be in the United States for a little bit. I think BMI 2000 pick up the win here, and I think they challenge the winner of the Goddess of Stardom Championship match at the end of this night. Neo Genesis versus me, Lobita Loca, Aoki, Akira, Rina, Suzu, again, World of Stardom, Wonder of Stardom champion, Starlight Kid, Azumi, Miyu, Mei Sarah. This is going to be nuts. We know Starlight Kid and Azumi, when they team together, it's insane. Miyu, she works really well with everybody, especially Azumi. Mei Sarah and Azumi, they're just like, when they team up, these multi-person matches, it's just like, don't take a breath. Like, you can't. Starlight Kid, she's phenomenal. Suzu Suzuki's, she's next level. Again, Akira's working really well with this duo. Rina is great, and Aoki is, for the little bit I've seen of Aoki, she's great with me, Lobita Loca. She's really, really somebody that I've heard of before, but only seen a handful of matches. Again, folks, if you know any matches, recommendation of Aoki, of Azuki Aoki, please let me know. I think me, Lobita Loca picks up the win here for 3 reasons. 1, they're the new faction. You need to build them. 2, does this propose a challenge for Starlight Kid's Wonder Belt? It's a possibility. Does this propose a challenge for Starlight Kid, Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, their future belt? It's a possibility. Even Mei Sarah. I mean, even if we get a high-speed championship match out of this, which Suzu, Akira, Rina, and Aoki, they don't really fit the mold of the high-speed wrestlers, but at the same time, we need some high-speed matches. So I think there's more to gain with a Vita Loca win here, because then you could build towards any one of those championship matches. So I say they get the win. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to say Suzu pins Starlight Kid, and then Suzu is your next challenger for the Wonder of Stardom champion. I'm going to get a little crazy, folks. I'm a little crazy. As they said, how can we survive if we don't get a little crazy? Being crazy, Hina and Rihanna Kid, they went crazy on the 14th and the 15th building this matchup. I think this is the easiest match for me to predict. If I had to do like a lock-in, like what do I think is going to, like I would put a whole bunch of money on, Hina's going to retain against Rihanna. I don't think Rihanna is ready for that belt just yet, and I think that Hina needs that belt right now, is doing a great job with that championship to really have her stand out in God's eye. So I think Hina gets the win here. These last 2 matches are tough, especially this one. Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Championship, Wingori, Hanan, and Saida, making their 3rd defense for the belts, taking on Soriano, Natsupoi, and Soriano. So their 4th defense, yes, because they beat Crazy Star at the Path of Thunder on the Spring Break shows. They defeated Mayu and Momokogo, and then obviously FWC at All-Star Grand Kingdom. So this is their V4 going in. If this match happened before Natsupoi and Soriano had that Protos show, where they did so much press and they did so much media and really hit the ground running and drew 2,800 people, I would say I think Wingori is winning. But because Soriano and Natsupoi, they're kind of the hot item here, strike while the iron's hot. I think, and that's the hardest match for me to predict, Soriano and Natsupoi pick up the win here. I think it's going to be one of the best tag matches of the year that we see. Again, these 2 teams are on top of their game. But I think the way that you look at it, and I talked about this on a Patreon episode with Andy Header. I think it's when we were recording. Me and Andy talk a lot. But like you look at now, like if Soriano and Natsupoi come out as this match's champion. It doesn't matter who wins the main event. We'll get to in a second. You have to take a look back and be like, okay, or take a step back and be like, who are my champions that I can draw major money to on a show, whether it's a pay-per-view, whether it's a Corkin in a championship match. Well, I say Kamatani, the most buzzed wrestler in all of Japan, in my opinion. She's my red belt champion. I'm going to draw no matter who's on the opposite end. Obviously, we want to see the Izumi, Soriano, Natsupoi, so on and so forth. So, okay, that's my main champion. We know she's a phenomenal wrestler, next level wrestler, in my opinion, the best wrestler in all of wrestling right now. And I'm going to draw money with her. So that's my number one, ace in the hole. Great. Who's my number two? Starlight Kid. In my opinion, the second biggest draw in Stardom behind Sai Kamatani and one of the best wrestlers in the world. She's doing fantastic. It looks like her shoulder is getting a little bit better. Even with that hurt shoulder, great match, Konami. Really great match with Izumi. I know some people liked it. Some people really liked it. I thought it was their best match at All-Star Grand Queendom. I thought they were phenomenal. She's starting to get healthy, which is going to just make her and all of her opponents even better. So as your white belt champion, can Starlight Kid draw money? I mean, she did, 1,200 people in Hanako and Cork and Hall a month ago. So it's like, okay, we know that. Starlight Kid is a massive, massive star. Again, WrestleMania weekend, she had the biggest lines for her meet and greet. So Starlight Kid is a massive star, next level wrestler. So there's my wonder champion. So now, we're going to get into the main event in a second, but no matter who comes out of that main event, the IWGP champion, whether it's Shuri or Sari, we know that they're big draws. Sari sells out all the Sariism shows. I mean, they did 1,400 people in Cork and Hall on a match with her and Ronnie Yugami. Sari's a massive star. She's a massive star. And again, Shuri, one of the greatest World of Stardom champions back in 2022. I mean, they drew so much great business on pay-per-view in her championship matches, and even her just as champion going into like the Cork and Halls or the other shows and like multi-person tag matches. And again, Shuri is, you're going to tell me Shuri's the best wrestler in the world, I'm not going to argue with you. You're going to tell me Sari's the best wrestler in the world, I'm not going to argue with you. But regardless, who comes out of that as champion, okay, our three champion here, Shuri or Sari, we know they can draw. No matter where we put them, we know they can draw. Wingori are phenomenal tag team champions. Are they as big as stars as Soripoi? No, I don't think so. Especially after what Soriano and Natsupoi did, 2,800 people in Oda Ward. Plus, you have to keep in mind, Soriano and Natsupoi, they're both former Wonder of Stardom champions. They both did great business, not only in the ring, but as champions. So, Hanan, Saida, they're yet to win the second biggest prize in all of Stardom. Yet, I think they both will get there because they're both fantastic. I think Wingori may be a better tag team. It's so close. But as far as star power, I don't think anybody can deny that Soriano and Natsupoi are bigger stars. That's why I'm going to say Soripoi wins here, because they're bigger stars and they're going to draw more money than Wingori. I'm not saying Wingori can't draw money, but I mean, 2,800 people in Oda Ward Gym. There's a lot of buzz on Soriano and Natsupoi. Strike while the iron's hot, because like they did that number, great show. The show got a great buzz, great main event match against Chihiro Hashimoto and Miko Wada. And then it was like a week later, it's like, let's put them in a tag title match. Whether that was the plan or not, or the idea of that not, I don't know. Strike while the iron's hot. I think Soripoi wins. They get the belts back, and then you can main event a lot of shows with them as tag champs and draw really good money. I would not be shocked if Wingori wins. This is the hardest match for me to predict. It might be the match I'm looking forward to the most, believe it or not. If not, it's the main event. And let's talk about the main event. Shuri versus Sari, IWGP Championship. I kind of figure this is definitely a Shuri win. And a lot of people are like, no, Sari's going to win because they're going to build Shuri up for a big red belt match with Sai Kamatani, which I have no problem with. But I'm like, Shuri just won that belt. She just knocked off Mayu in Mayu's final Stardom match. 2-year run. Great run. I mean, it's must-see match after must-see. I mean, there was all great matches, but there's 4 next-level matches on that run. The 2 with Shuri, the one with Sari, and the one with Momo Watanabe. Match with Mercedes wasn't too far off there where she wins the belt. Just great matches with Mayu. It's Mayu. But Shuri just wins the belt. She has a great match with Alex Windsor, with, obviously, again, we talked about last week that Rob was at in England at Pro Wrestling Eve. And does she drop it in her V2? I mean, I guess you kind of can, because then you have Sari as this champion. But if Sari loses, where does she go here? She lost the red belt, the Crimson Red Belt to Utami at the beginning of the year. She lost the Seedling Championship to Venny, which I talked about an hour or so ago. Does she lose here to Shuri? At the same time, it's Shuri. You're not going to lose anything here. Does it go to a double knockout? That's a possibility for how hard-hitting their match was earlier this year at Sariism show. I'm going to say Sherry wins here, but there's a lot of people that think Sari's going to win and told me the reason why. I'm like, it does make sense. So it's a tough one to predict. Regardless, I think it's going to be awesome. I would like for Sherry to win here, and then for Sari to be like, man, I just keep losing. Like I haven't lost that much since I came back from WWE NXT, and then maybe she says I want to prove myself by entering the 5-star Grand Prix. I think in a perfect world, that's the way to go. I love Sarah, I really do, but as a fan, I like Sherry a little bit more because she works that style that I like. And obviously, I've seen every Sherry match since 2021, and I'm a massive fan of her. I think she's terrific. I think Sari's great as well. I know a lot of people think Sari's the best wrestler in the world. I just like Sherry's style a little bit better. Again, it's apples, oranges, it's subjective. But I would love to see Sherry get a win here. We get big match Sherry for forever, as long as she's IWGP champion. And then Sari is so distraught with herself, she needs to prove herself by entering the 5-star Grand Prix. So that is my prediction. That's what I'm hoping happens. This show is going to be great. And again, these two main event matches for everybody who's still a little upset we don't have a Wonder and Red Belt match. And I get it. I understand. But again, Wingori versus Suripoi. They had, in my opinion, a 5-star match at the end of the Goddess of Stardom Tag League last year. And I made mention of it before. I'm going to, again, my favorite Goddess of Stardom Tag League match ever in the history of the tournament. That was a 5-star match. And I think the time limit draw, I think, at 4.5 or 4 3/4 stars. In the main event, Sherry versus Sari, we saw them go 30 minutes in Shinjuku Face. That's Sariism. Everybody had that as a 5-star match. I think except for Big Dave. It's okay, Big Dave. We forgive you. The real rating is on the Stardom cast, folks. So you have the potential of having 2 5-star matches to end this show. We really do. And then you have Rina versus Ariane versus Hina, perfectly built up. We're going to have an insane unit match with Mila Vita Loca and Neo Genesis, BMI 2000 versus FWC, the return of Ami Sohrei. Opposite end of Ami Sohrei is Saya Kamatani and Momo Watanabe. So I'm excited for it, folks. I cannot wait. 99.9% sure I'm waking up early to watch that show. So I will be live tweeting certain, my opinions, and I hope that you join me on social media to chat with me about some great Stardom wrestling. But folks, that is going to do it. There's the preview, the prediction. I reviewed the 2 shows. Again, thank you to our Patreon members. And if you think about becoming a Patreon member, just log on to the Patreon link and take a look what's there. It doesn't cost you anything. We have, again, sorry for the delay just because Rob's internet. And then he had Kirsty, it was his girlfriend's birthday. And then I had my anniversary and Father's Day. So it was tricky to try to get things out, but we're really getting the ball rolling. There's going to be a lot of Patreon episodes coming out over the next week or so. And again, there's a lot of stuff already in the can, ready to go and record. And again, folks, don't forget my fantastic interview with the amazing Allison Danger. That'll be dropping, I believe, on Monday. So again, some really great interviews. Again, Nixon Newell this past week at the beginning of the month. We had Mara Shade. I'm excited for her match coming up. I believe it's next week with Masha Slamovich. So really, really great stuff. Again, folks, let me know who you think is going to win at the conversion this week. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the 5-star Grand Prix. Let me know some matchups you would like to see in the 5-star Grand Prix, and not the obvious ones of like Shuri versus Sai Kamatani. Let me know if you want to see Aya versus Tomoka Inaba or Momo Watanabe versus Sayaka Kurora or whatever. So, folks, that's wrap it up for this episode. Questions, comments, suggestions, anything you need from me, Matt Turner OF on the Instagram and the Twitter is the easiest, fastest, and best way to get a hold of me. You can also shoot me an email at the StardomCast22@gmail.com. Again, folks, I thank you for your patience. Thank you for understanding. Obviously, again, Rob's going to be on the shelf for a little bit with that back injury. So I hope that you don't mind these solo episodes. Again, it might be 1, it might be 3 or 4. We don't know. It all depends on when Rob gets better. But folks, we greatly appreciate your support. Can't do it without you. Like I always say, just not my podcast. It's our podcast because we're all together and everybody's different. Everybody's special.